Welcome back. Let's keep going with our Star of Security and talk about code secrets. And with code secrets, it's quite simple actually. There's two main things we want to focus on: environmental variables and commit history. Let's take a look at both. I have over here our RoboFriends app. Nothing too crazy, same old, same old. There are many times in our apps where we have important information that we might want to hide. For example, sometimes we have an API key, like we do in the SmartBrain app with the Clarify API. That API key allows us to send an HTTP request to Clarify and Clarify for them to respond to us. There's also times where we might want to connect to a database and we need a password and user. And perhaps there are other secrets that we want to have. Or maybe even simply, we just need to have extra variables, what we call environmental variables, in our development purposes. Let me show you how this would work in RoboFriends. For example, out of the box with Create React App, we have access to, let's console log this, process.env.node.env variable. And this is saying, in this process that we're running, give me the environment variable node.env. And where did this come from? This is just default that's set by Create React App. If I save this and go back and let's take a look at our console, we have our logger, but we see that we have our log over here, development. And this is done by default because internally, Create React App gives us the node.env version. And when we run this, it says, we're running in development. Let's set up the app so that it's better for development purposes. When we actually run npm run build, it'll change this node environment to production so that it's able to say, okay, this is for production, not for development. I'm going to minify the code. I'm going to do all these optimizations, use libraries that are optimized for productions, and do all these things. So environment variables are useful. For example, I could say that if node environment was production, I want to add Google Analytics. For example, I could say if process node.env equals production, then in this block, we can say run Google Analytics or anything we want. And you'll see that a lot. But let's get back to security here. We now have a way to inject variables into this app from the outside world, from the environment. And by doing that, we can inject passwords, database passwords, usernames, and API keys, or even variables that we might need from the environment for our app to work. And the way we can do this with Create React App, and don't worry, I'll show you how to do it outside of Create React App as well, is to create a .env file. Oops. So we do .env. And I've actually already created one over here. And in this .env file, I can add anything that I want with one condition. We have to add the React app prefix. And after this, I can say whatever I want. So let's say hi equals to hi. No quotes here, just the way it is. Save it like that. And now let's copy this and now console log the process.env React app say hi. Except we don't need the equals now because that's the variable. And you might need to restart the server for this to work. So we run npm start again. Let's wait for it to load. And if I scroll up, I might have to save this first. Silly me. Let's rerun npm start again. Yes, use a different port. And look at that. I get hi. So using this, I can securely add passwords to my app. For example, let me show you GitHub. If we go to the SmartBrain project, look at that cat. Let's go to the SmartBrain Boost API. And in here, if I go into controllers, image, you see how I have the API key over here as your API key here? Well, I don't want to commit or show to the public my API key for Clarifai because let's say you're paying for that API key. Well, you don't want anybody to have access to it because if they do, then anybody can access and use your Clarifai account. In here, I could have done process.env, your API key here, and then every time I download this app, I have my .env file, and that already has my passwords and my keys already set, and I can just run it. And that's how companies usually deploy. They deploy apps by having process.env, some sort of a variable key, and each place where they deploy, they have a environment file that is kept completely secret. Remember, most of the time, these are secrets that you don't want the world to know. So sometimes you see .private folder that has all your environment variables for production, staging, local, and different environments. The idea is to keep these as secret as possible. Now, this .env that comes with Create React App is actually a package on NPM that anybody can use. And underneath the hood, this .env package is used by Create React App, but even if you're not running Create React App, you can just simply use it by NPM installing, and they have fairly good documentation. You can see over here for DB user, password, and host, I can use this, and now I can use process.env.db password, user, and host. And this is the recommended way of making sure that your app runs and knows secrets that shouldn't be shared with anybody in a secure fashion. Now, those are environment variables. And I want to show you something interesting. And this is something that you should be careful of. GitHub has a commit history. Whether you delete your commits or anything, you're always going to have this commit history. So you never, ever, ever want to put up your secret files onto GitHub because those are public. So always use a .git ignore file or never, ever, ever, ever do any passwords or API keys in commit history. Let me demonstrate why. If you go to GitHub at the search over here, and again, be responsible with this knowledge. Don't use it for nefarious reasons. That means bad reasons. But if I type in remove, let's try that again, remove password, press enter, and I go to commit. Oh, and this is under my search, but let's go back to outside of this repository to the main GitHub site and try that again. Remove password. And I go to commits. I have 38 million commits that have, let's go to commits here. 389,000 commits that have removed password words in them. So I now see where people have removed their database password. And this is for everybody to see. That's not very good, is it? Again, use this responsibly. This is just a demonstration to show you do not ever commit anything to GitHub that is a secret. And if you do, by mistake, since this commit result is going to be there, you're going to have to change your passwords, secrets, whatever they are, immediately. And there you have it. Code secrets. Be careful with them, hide them, protect them. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.